All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everybody. London Open session, July 20th, 2026. Here we are. Uh, let's do the quick pre-market analysis because I've took a look already a little bit. So I kind of arrived on an idea so far, but the economic calendar for this week, very interesting how light on news this week is. Like literally one medium impact news on Thursday, and that's it. Other than that, no high impact news whatsoever. Like classic summer doldrums type of week. Next week, FMC statement, so that will be some of a driver, but in here right now, nothing. Going into the ES, I think. Good morning, Sonia. I think that the relatively low sell side on ES is still to be matched on the downside with the Nasdaq. Nasdaq obviously took out way more of sell side liquidity, while ES was standing somewhat stronger, but it has unrealized objective below those relatively lows, and I would say that's like a reasonable expectation on the downside at the moment. On the near term, we have relatively highs in here. That's quite interesting. And we'll see whether we'll want to attack that first. But yeah, already we had relatively highs right here formed. Price absorbed that buy side liquidity, sold, and we moved lower quite a bit. Here is the consecutive encroachment on the hourly, which also could be a factor for offering some sensitivity there, but nonetheless my attention overall is down there for like the final objective, which is around 30 handles total. So I suppose we'll see how it will go. So I feel like consecutive encroachment on the week on Nasdaq is more reasonable than but yeah. Small little pool of relatively highs right there. So we could potentially tap into it. Yes, because on the daily chart, that's this low right here. That's what I'm looking for initially on ES, which, yeah, I would say it looks or seems quite reasonable as an expectation. We'll see. Obviously, if I will be proven otherwise, then I will be proven otherwise. But until then, I feel like that's kind of where the point of the matter resides. Adding this inversion for value gap here. Come in, that's coupled with those relative equal highs. That's like the near term draw, in my opinion, that could turn this around and send it lower. But we'll see. Yeah, so price went there once already. I mean, very close to that level. Left relative equal lows during the aim session here. So very sweet pool of sell side liquidity also. So in that regard, I feel pretty confident. But yeah, we'll still see how the price will actually deliver. I would like to stop those relative equal highs nonetheless first, because otherwise it's kinda tricky. All right, a couple more seconds and we're starting the silver bullet hour. So we'll see. All right, right from Jump Street, it rallies and attacks the buy side here. potentially into this inversion, so that's what I'll be watching. All right, so let's see if this shows any resistance here first. So far we are trading above it slightly. All right, so we even closed above that. We even closed above that, so now it can act as a bullish array here. Especially as we have those equal highs on the grander scale here, 15-minute time frame, which still could technically be reasonable to go there, I suppose. I'm adding another inefficiency here. That's a potential inversion. Last fair value gap before running those relative equal highs. 3 a.m. here. If we go, if price fails to maintain above this inversion and then goes below that, that's a potential setup there, I assume. Good morning, Francis. Same for you, and thanks. So I'm watching now closely if price can maintain itself above this level. So far, we went above it on a closing basis, but we already went below it with a week. The body's staying inside of it, so it could still prove itself, but any closing below it, then it would suggest a little bit of bearishness there, I would suppose. All right, so again, price traded above that, but couldn't even close above consecutive encroachment. All of this looks a little bit suspect already. All right, it closes below it now. So that's more of a game on, I would say here. We are trading into a breaker here also. Well, I mean, because it already went above that, then went below it, I would prefer to stay below this inversion for value gap here and don't really go on a closing basis above it again. Yeah, if it will, then that's obviously requires some maybe a deeper retracement or stuff like that. But if it would not be able to, then that would be indicative of a potential move coming for the loan open. Uh, yeah, I think as long as the 3 a.m. fair value gap here is not being traded below on a closing basis, then it can keep kind of like the higher potential alive. But the moment we smash through this range, in my opinion, it will highly favor lower prices near term. This kind of looks like a small little bull flag here with this displacement into this little consolidation. All right, looks like we are trading deeper into this inefficiency right now, or slightly deeper. Let's see. We left basically triple relative equal lows here inside of it. Two. It's really taking its time here. Basically trapped in between two PD arrays, this inversion and this busy, right? And we are just meandering in between, neither being bullish, neither being bearish. I want to see one of those arrays give up first, I feel like. Alright, so finally we are seeing some deeper run into the busy here that I want to see act as a potential inversion for Y-gap. So if we could close below it, and we certainly did here, and we gave that return too. Right, so I'm waiting a little bit to see how it trades, because technically it has still a portion of inefficiency there, and we obviously didn't went below that. Because there is basically no wick, no separation. This is like a one inefficiency here, split in two. So we went below the first one, yes, but we didn't went below the second one. And that's kind of like where I'm watching, because if we tap into this lower one here and then reject strongly, that's not what I want to see, right? And we're already trading above that, so that's definitely not what I want to see. So yeah, it went to the lower portion here, found some discount sensitivity and rallied back again into this inversion. All right, I mean, so far it looks like a sneaky session here, I would say. We'll obviously see how much more time it will take to make it move, but it's kind of staying inside of this little range without much willingness to move away from it. Definitely not from to the downside so far. Another push above this inversion with a large strong up candle, also taking this buy side, basically capitalizing that discount here and very quickly trading higher. So it's quite reasonable to expect uh, even deeper retracement, even deeper run, maybe as far as those radical highs up there. But yeah, 10 handles of a run basically from it there. So let's watch, let's see. So we formed another BC, bicep imbalances and efficiency here. I'll take those off. This is kind of like the moment that if it's bullish and you trade down into it, should really act as a institutional order for entry drill and really send it higher, I suppose. I don't know. I still kind of favor potential downside, yes. But on the near term, there is this radical highs buy side here that could have been attacked. I cannot say that it cannot be. Well, it kind of looks bullish here. That's what I can tell. It couldn't even return down into this inefficiency, leaving this open. Now stretching higher with large up candles. So the buy side up there is definitely something to watch, I would say. Not that we need necessarily to go up there, but it looks like it's swinging for the fences to actually reach that. Another busy. I'm aware of that, Sonia. But still, I'm curious to see whether this gap will be enough to cause any reaction. I'm afraid they are going for the buy side. I'm not afraid, but it kind of seems like they could do that. All right, so now we are trading into an inefficiency, and that would be a nice test to see how strong or weak this is. So far, very strong. So far, very strong reaction here. Yeah, it's going for the buy side though. All right, so I guess that's fair enough. That's fair enough that it goes for the buy side here. It could have done it. It looks like it does go for it, so that's fine. After the buy side will be taken out though, then I'll be interested whether it shows any turnaround characteristics. Because yeah, Nasdaq basically doing the same thing. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of tricky though. It is kind of tricky though. So we have those radical highs here based on the 15-minute, right? And a small little portion of this inefficiency with a very small little inefficiency up here that I will annotate with the dark black color here. So this is kind of like about it as far as this inefficiency hit there. But if we go above it here, if this doesn't turn around the price, then look what we have up here, right? That's very smooth radical highs too, with this additional high there to the left and this inefficiency. So it could be going for that liquidity and inefficiency on the upside then too, if it doesn't make a turn. It left radical lows, yes. It left somewhat radical lows here too, yes. Going for the buy liquidity first. So that would imply that if indeed that's a draw, we should be turning around or looking for a turnaround after the buy signal is taken and look for a potential run lower eventually. Will it happen this session? Seems like not, but who knows? But yeah, that's something to watch, I guess, and study and kind of like build a narrative around the information that we get or can get. So yeah, to me that's more of like a suspect rally here that might be faded eventually and run the sell side though. That's how I would see it. But that doesn't change the fact that it runs higher and can run higher more or deeper than I would like to see. It's Monday. After all, no news week. Not only no news day, but no news week. So expect unexpected. Yeah, but I mean clearly they left very smooth lows in here. Very, very smooth. And yeah, that might be left there for later today, later this week. It's still kind of hard to tell it because it's Monday. First session this week, London Open for me. So yeah, definitely they are engineering liquidity there. Well, I mean, so far poking the bicep only with some wicks. I would like to see body placed above that. That would be more meaningful as a run on liquidity. Well. I mean, I don't know. It feels kind of hard to actually try to predict a straightaway turnaround here. Even though in theory it could maybe happen, but in practice on a Monday like this, it's very difficult to tell, I would say. Nasdaq is not matching the highs, so ES went for that high. Nasdaq not, at least not yet. But yeah, we would need to see a clear displacement to the downside first, I suppose, before uh, building any new expectations. Well, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see turnaround here just like that and go the other direction. If it does, then I'll be surprised, but it feels a little bit sus to me underlyingly. And yeah, I think I'll be done for this session and I'll be back for the morning session. Maybe I will have a better read on that at that time. But yeah, for now, that's basically it. It delivered this run to the buy side liquidity here. I guess fair enough. Fair enough. We'll see how it will trade after that whether it goes into consolidation or continuation or what. But yeah, that's kind of how it is so far. Might not be the easiest week though. But fine, we'll navigate. We'll navigate. See you during the morning session, guys. Thanks for watching though. Bye.